Trainboy 54 Productions 2021.
A brand new tank engine was racing across the island of Sodor. He was very excited, and he didn't want to be late. "Right on time," said Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas and Percy looked at the big tank engine. He was very smart. "This is Arthur," said Sir Topham Hatt. "He's here to shunt trucks and pull freight." "Nice to meet you," puffed Arthur politely. "And he's got a spotless record," Sir Topham Hatt added. What's a spotless record?" whispered Percy. "It means he's never been naughty or made a mess," replied Thomas. The three engines were soon at work. Thomas and Percy were bumping freight cars. They knew this was naughty, but they were having fun. "Join in, Arthur," said Thomas. "No, thank you," wheezed the new engine. He'd never been naughty before. Arthur's first job was to push a trainload of fruit to market. The freight car started to sing. "A root to tow, we want to go. The fruit's going off 'cause you're too slow." "How rude," huffed Arthur. This gave Thomas a naughty idea. "Sir Topham Hatt doesn't like the freight cars singing," said Thomas. "You must stop them." "Thank you," said Arthur. "I will." Arthur was glad he could keep the freight cars in order. "He'll never stop the freight cars from singing," laughed Thomas. Arthur chuffed cheerfully through the countryside. Soon the freight cars started singing again. "Chug, chug, chuff, you tug and huff, but you're so rusty you can't even puff." "Stop singing," huffed Arthur. "Freight cars should do as they are told." The foolish freight cars were cross. If they couldn't sing, they would teach Arthur a lesson instead. "We'll show him," they giggled. "He can't push us around." Arthur struggled over bridges, and he huffed and puffed through tunnels. He came over the top of a big hill. "You can't catch us," laughed the freight cars. "Whee!" But there was trouble ahead. Duck had stopped at the crossing at the bottom of the hill. Arthur's driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. Squashed fruit flew everywhere. Arthur was upset. His spotless record was ruined. "Beep, beep! What a mess," puffed Thomas. Sir Topham Hatt was very annoyed. "What's happened here?" "The freight cars were singing. I told them to stop, but they made me go too fast." "Please, sir, it's my fault." Thomas told Sir Topham Hatt what he had done. "Arthur, it's fruitless for me to say more, but Thomas, you must help clear up this mess." Harvey arrived with the breakdown crane. He could see there was a lot of work to be done. Everyone worked hard, and Thomas took the loaded freight cars away. That evening, Arthur was having the squashed fruit cleaned out of his funnel. "I'm sorry I played a trick on you," said Thomas. "Thanks for owning up to it," replied Arthur. "Maybe Spotless records are made to be broken," smiled Thomas. "And then mended again," finished Arthur, "just like friendships."
Arthur loves working on the island of Sodor. He is new to the railway and is still learning his way around. One morning, he discovered the fishing village. The sun made the water sparkle, and the seagulls called across the harbor. This was Arthur's favorite place. That evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. "There's going to be a new line to the fishing village. I have to decide which engine shall run it." He paused impressively. Thomas and Percy looked away. They had enough work to do. Arthur hoped he would be chosen. "Thomas, you will work on the new line." "Yes, sir," said Thomas, but he really didn't like the smell of fish. Arthur was disappointed. Sir Topham Hatt sent him to haul coal to the steelworks. That evening, Thomas was at the washdown when Arthur puffed in. "Do I smell a fishy engine?" he teased. "Yes," huffed Thomas. "Silly fish, smelly new line." Arthur wished he could go to the fishing village instead of the steelworks. He'd be much happier than Thomas. The next morning, Thomas was still grumpy. The fishermen had caught lots of fish. "Hurry up," said Thomas. "I'm a busy engine." "And a fussy one, too," said the fisherman. "Just enjoy the fresh, salty smell of the fish." "P.U.," puffed Thomas. Thomas steamed as fast as he could along the line. But there was trouble ahead. Some faulty points sent his freight cars one way and Thomas onto the old pier rail. Whoa! The troublesome trucks were delighted. "He's falling in the water!" Luckily, Thomas wasn't hurt, and the fish freight cars stayed on the tracks. When Sir Topham Hatt heard the news, he checked his timetable. "Arthur is the nearest engine. I'll send him right away." It was a hot day. The ice that was keeping the fish cold started to melt. "I hope someone comes quickly," moaned Thomas. "That fish will spoil soon." Arthur was surprised to see Thomas in the tidal pool. "Are you all right, Thomas?" "No, but I'll be much better when you take these fish away." "The breakdown van will be here soon," called Arthur's driver. Arthur knew he had to hurry. He raced along the line to the docks and arrived there just in time. Later, Arthur went to see Thomas at the fitter's yard. "Thank you for helping me," said Thomas. "Thank you," said Arthur. "I wish I had the fishing village line all the time." "Well, please tell Sir Topham Hatt, because I don't like fish." That evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. "I need an engine to go to the fishing village while Thomas is being repaired," he said. "Any volunteers?" "Me," Arthur blurted out. And please, sir, may I run on that line all the time? Thomas doesn't like fish, but I do. Then the line is yours, said Sir Topham Hatt. Arthur was delighted. The next morning, he puffed into the fishing village right on time. The smell of fish was everywhere, but he was sure he had the most beautiful line on the island of Sodor.